for those that don't know, Stephen A. Smith has been catching a lot of heat for comments made about Jasmine Crockett, Kamala Harris, other people like that. And they've been on his behind. And so recently, Stephen A. Smith, as of last week, issued an apology to Jasmine Crockett based off some of the things that he heard Donald Trump say about her. Well, as of today, also, Donald Trump has been heard saying that, AOC and Jasmine Crockett don't have the mental capacity to take some of the tests that he takes. He said this on Air Force One to a reporter, but he issued an apology. And so now the question that we have is is this podcast, this political podcast that Stephen A. has, should he be doing a political podcast? What do you think? Noah, do you think Stephen A. Smith should be doing a political podcast?
Absolutely not. And I say that with such shame. We talked about this last week. Stephen A. Smith was a general assignment reporter for the Philadelphia Inquirer, and he's a great reporter. Mm-hmm. I don't want to take that away from him, mm-hmm. but I think the space that he is in now, I'm sorry, I don't think he's qualified or should have any business speaking about political matters, especially in 2025 going against a black woman.
So I'll say this. I think that we should all accept Stephen A. Smith's apology. I think people have an opportunity to apologize for what they've done if they feel like they've, offended people. And I think we should do that because in our community, we get very, very comfortable trying to cancel each other over things that are said that we don't agree with, and we allow people to apologize. Now, what I will ask Stephen to do is to almost kind of recognize where you are in the space that you're in right now with politics. And what I mean by that is, and what I thought was really a little tone deaf about what was said in that conversation and some of the things that he initially said about Jasmine Crockett were the fact that he was saying that, well, recognize that Donald Trump's a person in power and that her job as a representative should be going to try to work with Donald Trump and, work with the government. And I think that statement in itself shows, I think, the distance that he has from the reality of what this administration is on. Like, they not rocking with nobody.
Yeah.
They don't give a damn about black people. They don't give a damn about what anything other than, the agenda that this Project 2025 agenda that they have. And so I think this podcast is a tool to just play the middle just enough to pull black men and black culture just enough out of the way so that white race can say, see, Stephen A. Smith, though, he rocks with us. He's not as partisan as what you're talking about. And that is very, very dangerous because I think that he should speak, like I said before, to some of the people that really do this work, that are on the ground, that are consistently dealing with the death threats, the racism, the real true things that happen, as opposed to him being surrounded by some people. And I understand he's achieved a certain level of success and wealth, and I understand that, but you can never forget that a lot of crazy things are happening to people around this country that are black, and that there is no room, there's no space to pick a side in this moment.
I want to put my 2 cents in for a minute. I have a lot of journalist friends, and a lot of them have lost their jobs. Their press passes to the White House have been revoked. So to see this and knowing the people who are doing the work, it's ultimately, and especially knowing his background, very disappointing that he took this position and had to be in the place to apologize in the first place. I think you're 100% right. There's a disconnect between his reality and what's happening.
Right. Well, I'm going to leave. I don't know. I think are we going to leave you out of this one?
Listen, I was fully prepared to just continue to have no comment, but here's what I will say. And I want to say this carefully because I know sound bites can travel without fully being contextualized. And so, it's no secret that I used to work for Stephen and lead his marketing and was a part of his team at the height of him leading into getting a new contract from ESPN. And I can say that and know who he is and respect him and the work that he's done and know that he's a great father, he's a great journalist, he's a great, brother, does things for his community, know exactly what he's been doing for his alma mater and HBCU, and at the same time, as a Black woman, have felt the singe of his comments. And I think, two things can be true, right? And I also believe that whenever there is an offense, that the apology should be as loud as the disrespect. And so I can also say he did what he needed to do. And now it's up to the community and the conversations that happen after the apology that determine, how everyone chooses to move. And I'm not even saying how everyone chooses to move forward, how everyone chooses to move, period. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, I think I always say that we're so sensitive as a community, we can sometimes our emotions can pull us away from the target and the prize. And the prize or the agenda at hand is to really, get our hands and take control of our communities via politics and understand how serious shit is right now with, them trying to roll back the Voting Rights Act. Like, I think, like I said again, if y'all don't vote next time, look, I don't know, ain't nothing to say. Everybody should be voting next time.